Welcome back to Ellie's World, the only place where your worst decisions might actually make you more interesting. My name's Ellie, this is Ellie's World, and today we're getting honest, shameless, chaotic, and definitely concerning as I tell the story about how I broke into the 2017 LGBT Brit Awards. This is in the UK, and yes, I physically broke in and ended up getting interviewed by the Huffington Post and at a private meet and greet with a D-list celebrity the next day. This is a chaotic story, and it is actually even hard for me to believe that this happened. So let me walk you through it by taking you further back to 2015. In 2015, I decided I wanted to go to university. I had seen a lot of injustices in my life growing up with my mother, and I decided I wanted to pursue a career that could help with those injustices. So I wanted to go into family law. I chose to go to pre-law as my first degree so that I could expedite my path to law school. I showed up to school one day, went into my lecture. A professor who is he was a lawyer, and before that he was a police officer, so he was working in the law for many, many years before he decided to become a professor. He opened up his lecture by saying, just so you know, the only thing we're doing here is teaching you how to get criminals away with murder. And I don't know if he said this as a joke. I don't know if he said this out of disdain for his career and the things that he'd done, but it did not sit right with me. So when fall came that year, I quit. This was also the same time that I received a message from my grandmother saying she was not going to fund the second year of my university. I had no funds myself. I looked into government funding, and there was an option for free tuition, but it would start the following year, not my next calendar year, the following year, for people who were orphaned or crown wards, which is what I was, to have free tuition. So it seemed like at this point, all signs were pointing to me to take a year off university, and I had every intention of going back, but just rerouting when I went back. So I dropped out of the first year. And as we know, when you drop out of the first year of university, you never go back. And it's true, I never did. But I was living in Toronto, and I had to head back to the town that I was from and kind of crawl back to my foster family. I said, listen, I don't want to go back to university. They could not care less about me at this point. So they're like, okay, you can go back to your old room. This was such a regression for me, being back in that house after I had liberated myself from it. It felt like being right back under someone's thumb. I was miserable the whole time, but that being said, I had no money and I had nowhere else to go, so this was the only option for me. My foster parents came into the room one day and they were like, listen, you need to leave by September. That was only a few months away. Summer's short. And I was like, why? Why do I have to leave? I don't know where to go. And they said, we have given your room to an exchange student who's coming over from China, I think. And this is such a blow. This is such a blow because at this point, they're still considered my family. This is before we've severed all real ties. So for them to just give my room away without even talking to me about it and tell me that I have to make alternate arrangements is bizarre and traumatizing to me. So in my natural state, I am a person that operates out of extremes. So when I hear this, I need to get out of my room. I think, well, why don't I just get out of the country? And so I start planning a trip to Spain, France, all over the UK so I can leave. I book a one-way flight to Madrid, and then I book a one-way home 9 months later from the UK. This is so that I can have 3 months in the Schengen area without a visa and 6 months in the UK without a visa, and then I would come back. I had no plan for money, no plan. Thankfully, that worked out because my grandma gives me guilt money. So I guess I'm a Nepo baby in that way. Kind of the worst form of Nepo baby though, if you ask me. So I fly off the beginning of 2017. I land in Spain. I have a wild 3 months. I feel untethered to the world. This is important to the story. This is important. I feel untethered to the world for the first time. I cut off all connection with everybody that I know, which is something that I normally do. When I realize I've outgrown a circle, I will stop talking to people. And that's exactly what I did to all my high school friends who, by the way, many of them are homophobic, so this was long overdue for me to cut them out of my life. I'm getting more and more reckless by the day. More and more reckless. I'm getting myself into stickier situations. I'm becoming kind of a tyrant in Spain. The 3 months finalize. I hop on a plane. I head over to the UK. There's a story about me crossing the border in the UK, and it is a very dodgy story. It's on my TikTok, but I will do a full podcast episode on it because there's more details that I haven't shared. Once I settle into the UK, I start living in a hostel for a month, find myself an apartment in a Canary Wharf because I truly think that I'm going to live in the UK for the rest of my life. I don't really actually think about longer than a week out. So I really didn't plan on how I would ever make money or legally be in the UK, but anyways, I'm sitting in my apartment one day, scrolling online, and I see the 2017 Brit Awards are happening in London. I'm in London. I'm in Canary Wharf. It's a mere 20-minute tube ride to the location where the Brit Awards are happening. I need some excitement. My life has lulled a little bit having got to the UK. It's just a different vibe than it is in Spain. It's different. The people are a little bit more terse and it's a little bit less sunny, you know, like it's just different. So I feel like I'm in a little bit of a rut and I need something to excite me. So I head to the local Tesco. I grab myself a Mickey of vodka and I sit on the tube and I head over to the Brit Awards. I have my eye on one person that's going to these awards. Her name is Shannon Beveridge. She is a YouTuber from the 2010s who got famous for being gay. She had a really cute relationship. She was the first gay media that I had ever seen. So I was naturally obsessed with her. Also, I'm someone that really leans into parasocial relationships. So I actually was like, my best friend, I'm gonna go meet her. She is at the Brit Awards. So I'm like, I need to break in and I need to introduce myself to her, which already is just such a parasocial, creepy thing to do and would never do this now. But this is what I was doing in 2017, 9 years ago. I arrive at the Brit Awards. I see the barricades to the red carpets. Tons of paparazzis are lined up there, and behind them, tons of pedestrians trying to see just the A-listers walking by. There is a lot of A-listers at this event, the main one being Caitlyn Jenner. This is very recent to the time that she transitioned. So she was a big buzz in the media. Big buzz. So a lot of people were here to see her and she was being honored that day. It is important to note that I do not like Caitlyn Jenner. And it is important to note that Caitlyn Jenner killed a child and it was ruled manslaughter and then never, ever, ever received any form of punishment. This is because she was drunk driving. Like, hello? Why do famous people get no repercussions ever? I don't like Caitlyn Jenner, but I'm still here and she's here. I'm like, I cannot see these A-listers from all the way back in the barricade where I am, so I'm gonna have to break into these awards. I'm gonna have to break in, but to do that, I need an accomplice. So I start scanning the crowd. I'm like, who will help me? And lo and behold, I see a tall, gay man leaning against the wall by himself. We're both in jean jackets. I take that as my sign to walk over and be like, hi, my name's Ellie. Do you want to break into the award show? That's how I introduce myself. This guy, also unhinged, I believe, because he goes, hi, I'm Cam. Yes, I do. And I say, I have vodka. I pull it out of my pocket. I hand it to him and we split the Mickey. I think a Mickey is 8 shots. I think it is. So we have 4 shots each, but in a row. And also I'm very thin at this point because I'm not really eating that much. So this is going to hit me and it's going to hit me all at once. It's a ticking time bomb, if you will. I hate to say it, but I have a history of breaking and entering into abandoned buildings, never a home. Don't worry, I wasn't that kind of person. Breaking and entering into buildings, so even abandoned buildings, like not abandoned necessarily, like buildings in construction or things like that, they have security. So you need to know how to like kind of dodge past security and to get into the actual building. So I tell him it usually works if we head around the back of the building and find the dumpsters. At the dumpsters, there's going to be a door that the staff use for garbage. That door is normally unlocked, allegedly. Don't do this. So I lead him around to the back. We find the dumpsters. We find the door. To my disbelief, the door opens at my command. Cam is looking at me like, who are you? And I was like, I'm just a girl from Canada. Go on in, Cam. We enter into the belly of the building. There's a bunch of iron staircases. We're obviously in like the guts, the parts that the servers and the staff come to at the end of the event to clean up. Wonderful. I grab Cam by the hand. I start leading him around. I'm looking for the ballroom. I'm going directly in. I want to see everybody. I'm a little unhinged. This is so illegal. I had never once thought that this could potentially get me arrested in a country that I do not reside, that I am just a traveler in. That is so dangerous. This is so dangerous. But anyways, I'm running around this building. People are starting to notice that we're there, but no one is looking. I don't think anyone cared. Us in our matching jean jackets kind of giggling around, obviously probably smelling like vodka too. We end up on the main floor in front of a door that is huge. It's French doors, so there's 2 of them, and they're taller than me. And I look at him and I'm like, this is the ballroom. I can hear the noise behind, I can hear the vibrations, and someone introducing someone else to a speech. And I'm like, Cam, are you ready? We're going in. And he looks at me like, well, I made it this far, didn't I? So I throw open the door. I don't know why luck was on our side this time, but the doors that we throw open are actually in the back of the ballroom. They're not causing a giant scene. No one really notices that we actually open them. We head in. It's only the nearest circular table full of people in gowns that turn their head and are like, who are these people? I start looking around, scanning for Shannon Beveridge. What I don't notice is someone making their way towards me. I don't notice until I feel a firm hand on my shoulder and let's go. And I look back, security. I start giggling to myself. I'm like, worth a shot. And he pushes us out of the ballroom, closes the door. It's not that much of a scene. I'm sure more than just that table that I pointed out noticed, but most other people were just focused on the person that was giving the award. In my mind, I believe it was actually Caitlin that was stepping up onto the stage for the main award, but I'm not sure because it was a rush of adrenaline for me. Another stroke of luck hits. He pushes us out of the front doors at the top of the red carpet. Why on earth he wouldn't take us out a side door so that we couldn't be a part of this anymore? I don't know. And then he sees the crowd and just leaves us at the top of the red carpet. Me and Cam look at each other. The vodka's starting to hit. We're giddy, okay? It's only starting to hit though. It will hit much later. We take our spot at the beginning of the barricade and we're like, we'll just stand here and wait for the celebrities to come out, and then that way I can see Shannon Beveridge. He's gay too, so he knows who Shannon Beveridge is, so he's also in on this. And also Caitlyn Jenner, like a ton of other people. Miles McKenna was there, like big names at this time. Much more than that, like actually A-listers, but I was focused on a lot of the YouTubers. I don't know how long goes by. Long enough for the vodka to start taking away my peripheral vision. You know, I am starting to get really loosey-goosey waiting behind this barricade here, but I am having the time of my life. Time of my life. The doors fling open. Flashes off. Paparazzis are taking photos. People are emerging. Who do I see? Caitlyn Jenner. I have a photo of this. It's on TikTok in the comment section under the story. I have a photo of the moment before it all happened. Because I'm watching it, I'm like, it's actually cool that I get to see an A-lister, even though I'd hate this one. All of a sudden, Caitlyn's walking by. They're screaming. Something gets thrown. Caitlyn goes straight to the ground. People rush in, pick her up, drag her away, put her in a car, and she's gone. Everything is a frenzy. It all happens in a blur. The next thing I know, a microphone is getting shoved into my face, a giant microphone, and someone saying, "Hi, did you just see what happened?" And I was like, "Yes, I did see what happened." And he goes, "I'm with the Huffington Post. Can you recall that event?" I am fucked up at this point. It has all hit me like a sack of bricks. And I take the opportunity to look at the reporter and say, "Listen, I don't think that we should be honoring Caitlyn Jenner when she committed manslaughter towards a child because she was drunk driving and received no repercussions for that event, when we have wonderful trans gay people who are pushed into the sidelines, who are ignored by people. We need to march for their rights." Huffington Post guy looks at me and he's like, did you see what happened when she got attacked though? And I was like, I guess. Like, yeah, she got attacked, whatever. That's what I say. I give him nothing. I lose my opportunity to get interviewed by the Huffington Post. Cam gets the opportunity because apparently he's locked more in. Cam and some other guy get printed in this article, but there is a photo still floating around on the Huffington Post page of me belligerent in the background of the photo that they used for the article, which is wonderful. But the issue is I still go home sad because Shannon Beveridge. I'm walking away and Cam's like, "Do you want to grab some food?" I'm like, "Yeah." We head over to Soho. We grab some Chinese food. London is a vibrant city. I absolutely love Soho. I love it. We sit down in this dingy Chinese place, and it's dingy on purpose, just so you know. I'm not just being an asshole. It's dingy on purpose. We sit down. He orders Peking duck for us. It's the first time I ever had it. It was wonderful. Blows my mind. I was actually talking about it yesterday because I love it so much. We're sitting there, and people in gowns start coming by, like full ball gowns. It's some of the people from the Brit Awards. The people in the ball gowns are all showing up at this Chinese place. And I'm like, what are the odds that we would come to the exact same place that people would come after this award show? But why on earth are they in this 20-seat hole-in-the-wall Chinese place that is known for locals? Well, they head straight into the kitchen, which is really weird. And it turns out the Chinese place that we sat down was on top like a really big speakeasy that was really formal. And all the people were coming from the Brit Awards to go to the speakeasy that was underneath us. Kind of a serendipitous event, how everything just kind of worked out for this storyline. It's weird. It's almost like, why did the universe want me to make these decisions and do these things? Anyways, the weirdest thing happens the next day. I go home. Cam and I are now friends. We have solidified a friendship. I am friends with him for the rest of the time that I'm in the UK and for a little bit after, but I'm not good at keeping long-term connections at this time or now. I'm actually worse now. So we didn't stay in touch after. The next day, I wake up. I'm a little bit hungover, if I'm being honest, a little bit hungover. And I look at my phone, I have a text message from my long distance girlfriend who's back in Canada. She's a whole other storyline, by the way. Whole other storyline. I have to go into that. I get a text message and she's like, "You better wake up right now because Shannon Beveridge is hosting a private meet and greet to anyone that can make it to this spot in the next 20 minutes. The spot is the London Eye, and I'm about 20 minutes away from the Tube to the London Eye." I throw on my clothes from last night. I brush my teeth. I don't even wash my face. I hop out of the room. I run out of my house. I run down the street. I still have time to smoke my Marlboro Red. I hop on the tube. I make it there and I emerge in a park. On the way, I've texted Cam, get your shit together. We're going to meet Shannon Beveridge. Cam shows up too, thank God. We're waiting in line. There's about 10 people there. Shannon's in the middle. I am a fangirl. And I've already told you, I have parasocial relationships. I really do. So I'm like red in the face. I'm nervous. I'm like really excited to be here. And Shannon, I come up and she's like, hi. Like, it was surreal. I have a photo of this too. It's on TikTok. And I was like, hi, I love you so much. I've loved you since Shannon and Cammie. You're the reason I was able to be so confident myself. Like, this is why I will always justify parasocial relationships, because I never had role models when I was growing up. So the role models that I had became people that were online, people in movies like Taylor Swift or Shannon Beveridge. And those are the people that I modeled myself after, and the people whose virtues and values that I took because I couldn't take them from my mother. The ones that I took from my mother were narcissistic traits that took me forever to get rid of. So yeah, parasocial relationships, I actually think, are completely normal to people that grew up with abuse or grew up in difficult situations or didn't have positive role models to look after or look to, you know, and model themselves after. So waiting in line, I'm not weirded out by how giddy I am to meet this person that I have formed a bond, albeit one way, a bond with. Anyways, I kind of botched my interaction with her because I'm weird. I'm stuttering over my words. I'm sweating profusely, both from the heat, the hangover, and the nerves. Anyways, she gets through all the line. She takes a photo with everyone. We have a chat. I know London pretty well at this point because I've been here for like a fair amount of time exploring. Shannon's like, okay, well, we got to wrap this up. Like, we got to go. I was just at the awards last night. Like, I'm a little bit tired. Everyone's like, okay, yeah, like, thank you so much for coming to meet me. Thank you for dropping by. This is a dream come true. Not me. I don't want her to go. So I say, you know, just down this walkway, if you know the UK, if you know London, then you know what I'm talking about. Just down this walkway, there's actually an arcade, and in that arcade is bumper cars. So maybe we could all go as a group and just play a game of bumper cars. Are you going to say no to a group of 10 people who are looking at you with puppy dog eyes being like, please, Shannon, 30 minutes, one game of bumper cars, please, it's a 5-minute walk from us? She says yes. She walks down the street with us. We go into the arcade. She takes it. She's a wonderful person, honestly. And I actually, like, I'm shocked still that I did get to know her personally. She plays a round of bumper cars sitting in a cart with each of us. So we all get a turn to play bumper cars with her, which is so much fun. And I feel bad for her because we were all excited that she was there. So all we were trying to do is chase her down and whack the cart that she was in. So on top of being tired and most likely hungover is what she was saying from the award show the night before, she also just spent an hour getting rammed by carts, or 2 hours, I think, getting rammed by carts by these people that like are obsessed with her. The bumper cars wrap up. She's taking a turn with everybody. We're all getting a little bit fatigued too. So she's like, okay, let's end this. Let's go outside and we'll say goodbye to everybody. So we're standing overlooking London, overlooking the London Eye, like all the water is there, London Bridge. It's like scenic. And she's like, well, it's nice to meet all of you. Shakes all of our hands, gives us all a hug, and is like, thank you so much. Like, keep watching the videos. And we're all like, yeah, well, now we're extremely loyal to you because of this interaction. I take it a step further. I say, yeah, Shannon, like, I'll always watch your videos. You know, I'm a huge fan of you. I've been watching you since I was young. I've been watching you since Shannon and Cammie. And I actually came to the Brit Awards last night to see you. And she's like, oh, you were waiting outside to get like a photo or something, or like get an autograph? And I was like, no, I was the one that broke in. And she's like, what do you mean? And I was like, I came into the back. I snuck in with my friend Cam here. Cam is mad that I'm ratting him out, by the way. He was having fun. He caught a stray. I pulled him into this storyline. I was like, we broke in to see you. And she's like, oh, were you the people that came in the back door? And I was like, you saw us. That's incredible. Yeah, that was me. And she shuts down. She's like, oh, because think about it. Think about her perspective of me. I am freaking out getting my photo with her, sweating, nervous, all these things, telling her how much I love her. I am the one that instigates the extended hangout at the bumper cars. And now I'm telling her I broke into the Brit Awards last night to see her. I am giving stalker. I'm giving freak. I'm giving what the actual hell. I need to escape from this person. And that's exactly what she does. I kill it. She looks at me and she goes, okay, fine. I gotta go. And she left. Oh my God. I almost saw smoke out of her feet on the way. I do feel bad about that because now, being someone that has garnered like a few million views on videos and 50,000 followers and messages from people saying they have parasocial relationships with me, which is fine. I support that. I'm fine with that. That would be really fucking creepy. That would be really, really, really creepy. And I must have creeped her out. And I must be a story time that she has. She must tell people like, yeah, I had a crazy fan once that broke into the Brit Awards to see me. I must be that story. And that's the worst thing about me. It really is because in so many people's storyline in this earth, I am the tyrant. I am the chaotic one. I was the party animal in all of my high school friends and college friends' stories. I was the chaotic one. And people used to say to me all the time, like, I can't hang out with you because something crazy always happens. And I'm like, it's because I'm seeking out these environments. I'm seeking out these crazy things so I can mimic the chaos that my mother created for me as a child so I can feel normal. This is normal to me. This calmness that you guys are all seeking is not normal. It makes me feel uncomfortable. It's only now that I'm okay to be still and okay to be calm because I've healed myself, but that's only because it's been 9 years. Holy cow. Before I go ahead and end this kind of mini podcast episode story time for you guys, I just want to go ahead and say thank you so much for showing up, for listening to my story, for listening to what my mother had done to me and the effects that had on my adult life and the decisions I made because of the trauma, because of the chaos. I love telling stories. I have always wanted to do this. I've always wanted to use the things that I've learned and the wisdom that I got from the abuse that I went through to help show people that there's good in the world, there can be good in the world, and that no matter what you've been through, there's always a chance for healing, there's always a chance for happiness. And I really feel like I'm on a path to doing that right now, and I really love it. For those of you that have not followed the podcast or have not given it a like or rating, it really does mean a lot to me, and it helps me share these stories with other people. So if you could take the time to do that, I would appreciate that. And thank you so much for stopping by for a mini story time episode.